So hello everyone. Welcome to online education of Sir C.R. Reddy College of Engineering. So in the last class, we have seen a case two problems means economical load dispatch with the losses. Now in this class, we are going to see three basic concepts, and those are nothing but first one is continuation of the case two problems means in the last class we did only a basic problems in case two. But in this class, we are going to solve some more university point of view and similarly PSU's point of view in the case two. And then once we completed the case two problems, we will take some previous PSU's bits. And at the end, I will ask one important question now. And this question I got from student observation only. So let us try to consider a first case, that is a continuation of the case two problems. Please, all of you look at this problem. So, read the problem, then understand the problem. So, all of you read the problem, then understand the problem. What is the data which is present in the given problem and what we need to find out. So, let us consider this problem. A system consisting of two plants connected by a transmission line, and the load is located at plant 2. So when 100 megawatt is transmitted from plant 1, a loss of 10 megawatt is occurred in a transmission line. Then find the generation schedule and when the total load is 260 megawatts. But the most important point in this problem is this point, means losses are included but not coordinated. So what is the meaning of losses are included but not coordinated? So I will explain this point in our solution. And along with this data, they have given the incremental cost for the plant 1 and plant 2, which is given by IC1 and IC2. And this diagram shows that the diagrammatical representation of the given problem means here totally we have how many plants are there? 2 plants are there, P1 and P2. The load is connected very near to the power plant 2. So in this case, when 100 megawatt is transmitted from plant 1 to the load, 10 megawatt takes place in the transmission line as a loss. And one more given data is the total load is 260 megawatts. Means here PD2 is equals to 260 megawatts. And IC1 and IC2 also are nothing but a given data only. So finally, what we need to find out? We need to find out the generation schedule. Means we need to find out P1 at the same time P2. So let us try to see how to solve this problem. So first point is write the given data. So what is the given data here? IC1 and IC2. And one more given data is that statement which is related to the loss. That is, when 100 megawatt is transmitted from plant 1, a loss of 10 megawatt is occurred in a transmission line. This is very, very important. And one more important point in the given data is the total load is 260 megawatts. So we need to find out P1 and P2. So along with this, we need to find out L1 and L2. L1 and L2 are nothing but the penalty factors. And we know the basic formula for penalty factors, which is given by L1 is equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P1. Similarly, L2 is equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P2. Here we need to understand the term dou PL by dou P1. Repeatedly, I am saying that dou PL by dou P1 means it represents power loss with respect to the generation. When you are considering the L1, this is in terms of dou PL by dou P1, means this is incremental power loss with respect to power generation by the power plant 1. Similarly, when you are considering the L2, this is depends upon incremental power loss with respect to the power generation by the plant 2. These two are very, very important. But here the point is how to find out L1 and L2. Already we have seen the same type of problem in the previous class. For example, here in this problem, the load is very near to the power plant 2. Then automatically what happens here? L2 becomes 1. How it becomes 1? Let's see. So the formula for PL is B11 into P1 square plus B22 into P2 square plus 2 into B12 into P1 and P2. But here, whenever the load is connected to the second power plant, then automatically there is no necessity of the transmission line. When there is no transmission line, the loss coefficients are also 0. But here, the load is connected to the second power plant. So that's why the second coefficient becomes 0. Not only the second coefficient, the coefficient which are related to the second one is also becomes 0. Means in this case, B22 at the same time B12 should become 0. And the remaining thing is PL is nothing but B11 into P1 square. So from this, how we can calculate B11? B11 is nothing but PL by P1 square. So again, coming to the given data, here PL is nothing but 10 megawatt and P1 is nothing but 100 megawatt. So use this data, find out B11. So finally, you will get B11 is equals to 0.001. But here the point is, PL we are taking as 10 megawatts and similarly P1 we are taking as 100 megawatts. This data is only present in the given problem for the calculation of B11 only. So once you calculated B11 value, you should not consider as loss equals to 10 megawatts. Similarly, you should not consider P1 is equals to 100 megawatts because this data is only for the sake of calculation of B11 value only. Understanding everybody? So once you calculated B11 value, don't consider loss equals to 10 megawatts. Similarly, P1 value is equals to 100 megawatt. So finally, you will get B11 value is equals to 0.001. So after that, one more point is there in the given data that is related to the load side. So when you're having the load, how we can write the power balance equation? It is nothing but P1 plus P2 is equals to PD plus PL. So you can rewrite that equation as P1 plus P2 minus PL is equals to PD. We know PD value. So what is the value of PD? 260 megawatts. And we know PL value. So PL expression is equals to B11 into P1 square. And B11 value only, just now we got B11 value is 0.001. Substitute here. Means this equation is in terms of P1 and at the same time P2. So you will get one equation in terms of P1 and P2 because we are representing your PL in terms of P1. Similarly, we know PD value. That is nothing but 260. So finally, you will get one equation in terms of P1 and P2. And one more equation. How we can get one more equation from the given data? That is, we know IC1 at the same time IC2. Just try to equate these two. You will get one more equation. Okay. Then do it and tell me the answers for P1 and P2. See, someone A0 is asking that, sir, yesterday we calculated B11 as 10 by 100 for same sentence given in yesterday question. Just try to remember your previous question. There we don't know B11 value. Here also we don't know B11 value. But here, we need to find out PL expression in terms of loss coefficients. But in the yesterday class, we need to find out the penalty factors. So how we did in the yesterday class, LE is nothing but 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P1. There we are taking dou PL is nothing but 10 and dou P1 is nothing but 100 megawatt. And they have not represented about the load in the previous class. Just now, we have seen the same statement which is present in our previous class also. The main important point it is we are using same formulas. One is a final condition for the coordination, and one more is the formulas for L1 and L2, and one more is PL expression. But the thing is how we are utilizing your given data. That is important. So depends upon the given data, we need to differentiate our procedures. So finally, we have to use the same formulas. So depends upon the given data, you need to go for the solution for the given data. Okay. So otherwise, I will post the same PPT and you can get the same video in your YouTube. And again, go to your previous class and again watch this video also. Then you can understand what is the difference between your previous class problem and this one now. So try to solve these two equations and tell me P1 and P2. So in this unit, the formulas are very, very limited. But the thing is, depends upon the given data, how they have given the data. So depends upon that given data only, we need to try to solve the problems. So let's see the solution. So this is one equation. Then consider one more formula, that is df1 by dp1 is equals to df2 by dp2. Here the point is consider the problem as lossless. Then you can consider df1 by dp1 is equals to df2 by dp2. Why we are considering the problem as lossless means just observe this line. Here losses are included but not coordinated. Whatever the formula we got finally, that is df1 by dp1 is equals to df2 by dp2, that formula we got by considering the coordination of the power plants. But here in the given data, they are considering that the power plants are not coordinated. So that's why directly we can't use that formula. So that's why we are assuming. Still some people are coming up. So that's why we are assuming that df1 by dp1 is equals to df2 by dp2. Then you will get this equation. Then tell me P1 and P2 by solving these equations. Very good. Some B8 is giving that P1 is equals to 240 megawatt and P2 is equals to minus 20 megawatt. No. So how you can get minus 20 megawatt? So you'll get here, you can rewrite this equation P2 in terms of P1. Then substitute second equation in first equation. Then you will get equation in terms of P1 only. Then you will get the values of P1. Those are nothing but 1200 megawatt and 300 megawatt. See here, out of these two values, what value we need to consider? Whether we need to take a 1200 megawatt or a 300 megawatt. That is also very, very important. Because your P1 is in terms of a quadratic equation, means you will get two values of P1. Those two values are nothing but 1200 megawatt and 300 megawatt. Out of these two, what value we need to consider here it is, we need to consider here only 300 megawatt. The reason is we should not consider 1200 megawatt because here the load in this problem is just 260 megawatt only. Just 260 megawatt only. But still here we got P1 value is equals to 1200 megawatt and one more value for P1 is 300 megawatt. You may ask one doubt is, sir, 300 megawatt is also more than a demand. So that's why already I told you that this is nothing but our assumption. This equation we got, this equation during the derivation time by considering the power plants in a coordination manner. But in this, they have given that you should consider the losses, but not power plants are not coordinated. So that's why this is nothing but our assumption only. So finally we got P1 value is equals to 300 megawatts. So once you get P1 value is equals to 300 megawatts, can get P2 value? Yes. So tell me P2 value. Tell me P2 value quickly. Substitute P1 is equals to 300 in the second equation. Then you will get P2 value. Tell me P2 value. P2 is equals to 50. Roll number A7 is giving that P2 is equals to 50. B8 is asking that, sir, explain equation 1 once again now. So finally we got P2 is equals to 50. So let's see. P1 is equals to 300. If you substitute that P1 equal to 300, then you will get P2 is equals to 50. Then one person is asking that, so how we got first equation? Then let's go back to a previous slide. Just here observe, this is nothing but a loss expression, which is given by PL value is equals to B11 P1 square plus B22 P2 square plus 2 into B12 into P1 P2. So already I told you that here, in this case, the load is very near to the second power tank. So that's why there is no transmission line necessity between power tank 2 to the load. So in such case, the coefficient 2 becomes 0. Coefficient 2 becomes 0 means B22 should become 0. Not only B22 self-coefficient, the sum of the coefficients which are related to the second coefficient also becomes 0. Those are nothing but B12 at the same time B21. So the remaining equation is PL is equals to B11 into P1 square. Okay, but why we are taking this equation is, in the given data, the load parameter is there, that is equals to 260 megawatts. So this is nothing but a power balance equation. What is the power balance equation? Generation should be equals to demand plus loss. So what is the generation here? How many power plants we are taking? Only 2 power plants. Those are nothing but P1 and P2. So that's why we can write P1 plus P2 is equals to PD plus PL. So you can bring that PL to the left hand side. So you can rewrite this equation as P1 plus P2 minus PL is equals to PD. Okay, we know PL value in terms of P1. So what is the PL value? That equals to B11 into P1 square. So we know B11 value. What is that value? 0.001. Substitute here. So you will get PL value is equals to 0.001 into P1 square. And what is the value of PD? 260 megawatt. So finally, you will get this equation. P1 plus P2 minus B11 into P1 square. This is nothing but PL is equals to PD. What is the value of PD in this example? 260. So like this, you will get first equation. Is it clear? Roll number B8. Okay, thank you. So this is nothing but the solution of this problem. Then let's move to one more problem. So all of you look at this problem. So let's try to understand this problem. Here the fuel inputs for the two plants are given as F1 and F2. And the total load demand is 200 megawatts. And they're asking, find the generation schedule. Generation schedule means we need to find out P1 at the same time P2 and corresponding cost of fuel. So we need to find out F1 and F2 also. Of course, if you know the P1 and P2, when you substitute those values in the first one and the second one, automatically you will get F1 value and similarly F2 value. And one more given data is the loss coefficients are B11, B22, B12 and B21. Now we need to understand the problem. What is there in the given data and what we need to find out and how to find out the generation schedule. So first of all, what is the first step here? In order to find out the generation schedule, P1 and P2. And they have given the loss coefficients also. So how to find out the generation schedule? And we know demand also. So the basic formula is dF1 by dP1 is equals to dF2 by dP2. So when you do the derivative with respect to P1, then you will get incremental fuel cost for the first one. Similarly for a power plant 2. Equate these two, you will get one equation. Similarly, we have to get one more equation because here two unknowns are there. Those are nothing but P1 at the same time P2. So how to get one more equation is, we know demand value and we can calculate here loss power by using these loss coefficients, which is given by PL value is equals to B11 P1 square plus B22 P2 square plus 2 into B12 P1 P2. When you substitute these loss coefficients, you will get PL value in terms of P1 and P2. They again go for power balance equation. What is the power balance equation? P1 plus P2 is equals to PD plus PL. So we know PL value in terms of P1 and P2. We know demand value. So substitute each and everything. You will get one more equation in terms of P1 and P2. That is nothing but second equation. And try to solve first equation and the second equation. Then you will get P1 and P2. So once you get P1 and P2, substitute this P1 and P2 in F1 and F2, then you will get the corresponding cost of fuel. This is so easy. So that's why I'm leaving this question for your practice. Okay? Understood everybody? Just type your response in our chat box whether you are understand or not. Because we have done so many problems, sir. So that's why I'm leaving this problem for your practice, sir. Yes, roll number 53A736 are saying that yes, sir. So we can move forward. Okay? Then let us consider one more problem. Then all of you look at this problem. By reading this problem, tell me what is the difference between this problem and the previous problem. So let's try to understand this given problem. Everything is same, they accept only one point. In the last one, we know the power demand, but in this one, they have given that the cost received by each plant is 2.6 rupees per megawatt hour. So what is the meaning of here? Cost received by each plant? This is nothing but lambda value. So directly you can equate this IC1 is equals to 2.6, then you will get P1 value. Similarly, when you equate this IC2 is equals to 2.6, then you will get P2 value. So easily you will get the generation schedule. Then how to find out load? Here we have to find load. How to find out load? So again, let us consider power balance equation. What is the power balance equation here? P1 plus P2 is equals to PD plus PL. Why we are taking again P1 and P2 only? Here we are taking only two power plants only. So that's why we need to take only P1 plus P2 only. That should be equals to PD plus PL. And we know P1 and P2 values, and we need to find out PL value. So how you can find PL value? We know PL formula is, it is given by B11 P1 square plus B22 P2 square plus 2 into B12 into P1 P2. We know P1 and P2. So can you calculate PL value here? Yes. So once you calculate PL value, everything is known in the power balance equation except the load. So that's why easily you can calculate the load. Okay. Just type your response in our chat box whether you understood this problem or not. Yes, come on, give your response in our chat box. Yes, A0 is giving that. Yes, sir, we understood. So what about the remaining people are understanding or not? So the only way for our communication is our chat box only. So that's why be active in our chat box. You are giving the answers means you are giving the responses means you are here. You are not giving the responses means you are not here. You will be somewhere else. Yes, I'm getting a response from so many people. So that's why I'm leaving this question for your practice. Okay. So let's take one more problem. Okay, try to understand this problem. Okay, good. Some people are giving the response. Roll number 21, 18, and 17 series B8. Okay. Then take this problem. Try to understand the problem. I think this would be the last problem in this class, I think. In first topic. So let's try to understand. A system consisting of two thermal power plants are connected by the transmission line, and the load is at plant 2. When 200 megawatt of power is plant 1 to the plant 2, the power loss in the transmission line is 16 megawatt. Calculate the loss coefficients and calculate the power generated by both the plants, means P1 and P2, and also estimate the penalty factors. Means in this problem, this is nothing but a complete package for this unit. Means in this problem, we need to find out loss coefficients. Similarly, we need to find out P1 and P2. Similarly, we need to find out the penalty factors, means L1 and L2 also. So that's why this problem is nothing but mixing of your previous problems. And similarly, one more given data is, they have given IC1 and IC2, similarly lambda value also, and it is equals to 12.5 rupees per megawatt hour. So let's try to solve this problem. So first write the given data. What is the given data here? IC1 and IC2, and one more data is related to the loss. And here we need to find out loss coefficients and P1 and P2 and L1 and L2. And we know the basic formula for L1 and L2, that is L1 is equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P1, and L2 is equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P2. And in this one, the load is near to the L2. So that's why L2 value is nothing but 1. We need to find out only L1 value. How you can find L1 value? By knowing the PL value. So how you can write PL expression? PL is nothing but B11 P1 square plus B22 P2 square plus 2 into B12 into P1 P2. So we know that B22 should become 0. Similarly, B12 should become 0. And the remaining thing is PL value is equals to B11 into P1 square. Okay. So from this, we can understand that how to calculate B11 value from the given data. That is B1 value equals to 0.004. Then whatever the remaining last coefficients, this is the value for B11. Then what about your B22, B12? They are zeros. Because in this one, the load is near to the power plant 2. So that's why the last coefficients which are related to the second one become 0. So that's why B22 and B12 and B22 becomes 0. Okay, that is the solution for the BM coefficients. Then we will move for next one. So in order to find out P1 and P2, similarly L1 and L2, we need to consider the basic condition, that is L1 into dF1 by dP1 and should be equals to L2 into dF2 by dP2. And we know how to represent L1 value, and we know the L2 value is nothing but 1. And we know incremental fuel cost for the power plant 1 and power plant 2 also. So that's why equate these two, you will get P1 value. So once you know the P1 value, you will get P2 value. So once you P1 value, try to substitute this P1 value in L1 value. Then you will get L1 value. And similarly, how you can find PL value? We know the expression for PL, that is given by B11 into P1 square. We know B11 value, and just now we got P1 value also. Substitute, then you can get PL value also. Okay, similarly, from the power balance equation, you can get demand also. Demand means it is nothing but load. So it is nothing but 510 megawatt. This is nothing but a long approach, but finally, how many formulas we are using? We are using very less formulas. That is nothing but a basic condition and the penalty factor formulas, and finally loss expression and power balance equation. Totally we are having only 4 equations in this unit. So when you know how to use those 4 equations, you can solve any type of problem in this unit. Okay, so this is the solution for this problem. Okay. And coming to this 21st problem, and this is also very familiar to us, so that's why I'm leaving for your practice. So with this, we have completed our first one, that is problems in ELD by considering the losses. Now we will consider some PSUs questions. So here we will take 2 to 3 PSUs questions. So with that, we will conclude this session. Now try to understand this PSU question, then tell me the answer here. Question is there. So for that question, you will have 4 options are there. And type your answer in our chat box, whether it is A or B or C or D. Very good. A0 is giving that J, and roll number 53 is also giving that J. Then what about remaining people? 17 series B8 is also giving that J value. A means answer, A means increases. Very good. So many people are giving the response that answer is J. Very good. So let's try to understand the given question. Here dou PL by dou PI for a plant I with output PI, and the loss in the system being PL increases, then penalty factor of the system is. So simply, what they are asking is, if dou PL by dou PI increases, then what about the penalty factor? It is simple. No need to use your formula also. Try to apply your common sense, then automatically you will get the answer. This question is nothing but one of the IES question. So once you apply your common sense, you will get answers for so many PSUs examinations, because when you are writing PSUs examination, you need to spend very less time for solving any type of bit. The reason here it is, maximum you need to spend 1 minute of time. Try to apply here common sense. Already I told you that what is the meaning of dou PL by dou PI? It is nothing but incremental power loss with respect to the power generation. when the power loss is increases, then whatever the penalty what we are facing, the penalty should be increases. This is nothing but a simple common sense. When the loss is increases, penalty is also increases. So that's why easily you can say answer is A. This is nothing but a theoretical concept. For example, when you go for, by using formula, we know the formula for penalty factor. What's that one? L equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P. When dou PL by dou P is increases, what about your denominator? Denominator is decreases. When the denominator is decreases means what about your L value? L value is increases. So like this also you will get the answer. So answer is increases. Okay. So let's move to one more problem. Then all of you read this 23rd problem and give the answer within a short time. So already I told you that for PSUs, you have to use your common sense and you have to use your observations. So generally you should not use conventional procedures. So let's take this problem. So rule number A4 is giving that answer is A. So that A is for your previous question or for this question now. So type your answers in our chat box for this question. Some people are saying that the answer is A. So when you look at this problem, generally you may think that we need to use calci. But here, without usage of calci, without use of pen also, we can say the answer for this question also. How? It is nothing but from your observation only. Because till now we have done 22 problems. This is 23rd problem. So that's why apply our common sense on what did you observe from the last 22 problems. So from that observation and common sense, easily you can see the answer. So here the incremental fuel cost of the two plants are as follows, that is IC1 and IC2. And the economical load schedule of a given system is 180 megawatts. This is nothing but total load. It is equals to 180 megawatts. So how many power plants we are taking here? 2 power plants. When you add these two, definitely you must get 180 megawatts. This is our first point. So when you go to consider the options, in the first case, P1 is equals to 100 and P2 equals to 80. So you will get 180. Similarly, in the second case also you will get 180. Similarly, in the third case also you will get 180. Similarly, in the fourth case also, when you add these two, you will get 180. Okay, that is nothing but first point. And coming to the second point, in between P1 and P2, we need to select the answer. Whether P1 should be more when compared to P2 or P2 should be more when compared to P1 or otherwise these two are same. How we can understand is based upon the incremental fuel cost. Now observe this incremental fuel cost for the power plant 1 and power plant 2 and tell me the answer now. Someone is giving that 18 series 236 is giving the answer is C. So that answer is P1 is equals to 80 megawatts and P2 is equals to 100 megawatts. Then let's wait for some more people responses. 18 series 221 is giving that option is D. 18 series 226 is giving the answer for C. Then whatever remaining people, here you should not use your calculator, pen or book. Directly by seeing this example, you can see the answer. This is 1 mark bait for GATE examination. 18 series 234 is giving that C is the answer. Then whatever the remaining people, just try to observe this IC1 and IC2, then tell me answer. Simple. When you observe this IC1 and IC2, This is nothing but incremental fuel cost. From the observation, what we conclude is, if the incremental fuel cost of a particular power plant is more, then automatically it will take less power. Understanding, everybody? If incremental fuel cost of your power plant is less, it will take more power. When compared to IC1 and IC2, which is having more incremental fuel cost, IC1 or IC2? IC1 is having more incremental fuel cost when compared to IC2. So that's why IC1 will take less power when compared to IC2. Okay, based upon this point, go and observe given options. So then you will get C is the correct answer. For example, if IC1 is equals to IC2, then answer would be second one. Because P1 is equals to 90 megawatt and P2 is equals to 90 megawatt. But here in this case, your IC1 is more when compared to IC2. So that's why P1 takes less power when compared to the P2. So like this, you can get the answer. Understand, everybody? Okay? Type your response in your chat box. Do you understand or not? Okay, thank you. So many people are saying that yes, sir. Okay. Then we'll go for one more PSU bit. Of course, you can calculate the same problem in a conventional manner. If you do the conventional manner, take IC1 and IC2, take PD value, P1 plus PT is equals to 180 megawatts. Try to equate these two. You will get one equation, and you will take one more equation from the power balance equation. Try to solve these two equations. You will get P1 and P2. This is nothing but conventional procedure. So you need to choose this procedure for university point of view. But when you are doing for PSUs, by seeing the given example, you must be able to guess the answer. Okay? Then let us take the last one for this class. Okay? Then read this problem and tell me the answer. Yes, you must say the answer within fraction of time. Because now you are not writing university examination, you are writing some PSU's examination. So that's why you must spend very less time. Tell me answer. So for this one also, there is no necessity to use your calculator, pen and book. By saying directly the given data, you can guess the answer. Try to guess the answer from the given data. First, let us try to understand the given problem. A generator is supplying a load, and an incremental change in the load of 4 megawatt requires a generation to be increased by 6 megawatt. Means what is the point here? When there will be a change in the load of 4 megawatt, in order to meet this 4 megawatt in the load side, how much power we need to increase in the generation side? 6 megawatt. Means what is the difference between these two? 2 megawatt. Means 2 megawatt is going to occur in your transmission line as a loss. And one more given data is lambda value. Lambda value at plant. At plant means at generation side, it is equals to 30 rupees per megawatt hour. Then what about the incremental cost at the receiving end? Incremental cost is nothing but lambda value at the receiving end. Then tell me, what is the value? What would be the value of lambda at receiving side? So it must be equals to 30, or is it must be equals to less than 30, or it is more than 30. 18 series 244 is giving that answer is J, 30 rupees per megawatt hour. 236 is also giving that answer is J. So many people are giving the response that answer is J. But this is some PSU's examination. one more is giving that answer is D. Roll number 18 series 243. So try to understand this 30 rupees per megawatt hour. It is a cost at plant side. Plant side means generation side. But what they're asking is the incremental cost at the receiving end. At the generation side, we know that is 30 rupees per megawatt hour. And coming to the receiving end, what is the value of incremental cost? So in between generation and the load, we need to consider loss also. In this example, the loss is nothing but 6 minus 4 megawatt. Means 2 megawatt is occurred as a loss. So definitely we must consider loss also. For example, when the loss is 0, then you can consider these two are same. But here loss is there. So once the loss is there, automatically incremental cost is more at the receiving end when compared to the generation side. Now tell me the answer in our chat box. Someone is saying that voice is not coming. Roll number 97 now. Just let me know that my voice is clear or not. Yes, give your response. My voice is clear, not? Yes, sir. So there is a problem in your mic. 97. So answer is it should be more than 30. Means it may be 45 or it may be 33.4. But here the loss is very more because we are taking only 6 megawatt. Out of that 6 megawatt, 2 megawatt is going to happen in your loss. So that 2 megawatt is a huge loss when compared to the 6 megawatt. So that's why answer would be a 45. But let's see the answer in a conventional procedure. So this is nothing but a given data. Power plant is there, load is there. In between these two, one transmission line is there. So what is the given data is when the load of 4 megawatt is increased, then what about the generation side? We have to generate 6 megawatt. So when you are doing like this, what about the loss here? Loss is equals to 2 megawatt. So we have one basic fundamental point, that is L into dF by dP is equals to lambda. This is nothing but our fundamental equation. So we need to find out lambda value here at the load side. What about your dF by dP at the source side? That is nothing but 30 rupees per megawatt hour. What about your L value? We need to find out here L value. How you can find L value? We know the basic formula for L value is equals to 1 by 1 minus dou PL by dou P. But how to find out dou PL by dou P? Where PL is nothing but loss, P is nothing but generating side. So what is the value of PL here? 2 megawatt. What is the value of here? Dou P? 6 megawatt. So when you substitute here, then you will get L value is equals to 1.5. So 1.5 into 30, you will get 45 rupees per megawatt hour. So this is nothing but your answer. For example, so you may ask that, sir, in between 45 and 33.4, how we can get the answer? Because these two are nothing but more than 30 rupees per megawatt hour. But you are saying 45. For example, if the loss is very less, then you can pick up the answer is 33.4. But here the loss is 2 megawatt. 2 megawatt means it is nothing but 1/3 of the generation side. 1/3 means 33.33% is very more. So that's why the lambda value is also must be more. So that's why you need to consider here 45 as an answer. Okay. So you understand everybody this problem? The main point is in between your conventional procedure and PSU's questions, you should not spend a much more time for getting the answer. By seeing the question and the given data, you must be able to pick up one answer from your observation and common sense. So like this, we can get the answers. So with this, we can conclude your PSU's questions, and tomorrow also, we will do some more PSU's questions. So those questions are also very, very important. We will take some previous questions from the GATE at the same time IES. Okay, and at the end, let me ask a very simple question. And this question is I got from a student observation only. Let's try to understand the problem. Okay. For example, when you consider the 4-point starter, this is nothing but a simple representation of the 4-point starter. So when I say the 4-point starter, how many points are there? 4 points are there. Those are nothing but L, F, A, and N. So generally, 3-point starter, 4-point starter, 2-point starter is used for DC motors only. Okay. In this case, what is by L here? L is nothing but line because that point is directly connected to the positive of the supply. Similarly, what is by F here? F means field because that point is connected to the field of your machine. Similarly, what is by A? A is nothing but armature because that point is connected to the armature. But now, what is the meaning of N here? Type your response in our chat box. What it represents N now? Good. 18 series 53 is saying that neutral. Then what about the remaining people? What it means? N means. Very good. So many people are giving the response that neutral, 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 neutral. Then what about the remaining people? So already I told you that you are giving the response means you are in the classroom. So otherwise you will be somewhere else. So many people are giving that response is N means neutral. N means neutral. But here, my question is, for example, very good. So many people are giving that N is neutral. My question here is, this 3-point starter or 4-point starter or 2-point starter generally used for DC motor applications. But when you consider the DC motor, DC system, it has only 2 terminals. What are those? Positive and negative. Positive and negative only. But why you are saying this point as neutral? Any guess? In your DC system, we will have only 2 points. Those are nothing but positive and negative only, not neutral. But why you are saying this N as neutral? Type your response in our chat box. Generally, neutral is present in our AC system. Negative is present in our DC system. Type your response in our chat box. Of course, generally outside also in our labs also, so many people will use N as neutral. But I don't know how these people calling that N as neutral because there is no neutral point in DC system. So can we consider this N as negative? Is it right? Or some hidden fact is there by calling this N as neutral? So I will give some time for you. Maybe definitely I will promise that by taking some extra class means maybe at the end of the first unit or second unit, I will prepare one more PPT. In that PPT, I will explain each and everything. What are the questions I'm asking for you as a gift questions or common sense question or thought-provoking question. I will explain each and everything. So with this, we can conclude this session. Thank you very much.